Stun Shen does manage to keep him alive, deposits the Shen in there, and he can battle dance out as well. And I think this is going to be a game that's going to revolve around Jankos and how effective he can be at putting caps forward, allowing him to lane kingdom against the Orianna. And this is definitely G2 taking a different approach, as this is going to be domination from very early on, especially in the mid lane, making sure that Jankos has as much space as he can to get his Lilia around the jungle and scoop up all of those camps, as Gemini tries to do exactly the same thing on the Graves.
And we'll see if G2 are going to be able to get those advantages and unlock the Lilia and the Lucian and to start snowballing out of control. That's basically what the battle is all going to be about. So both of these teams are now on the opposite ends of the spectrum from where they were respectively in the games they've already played today.
Yeah.
So seeing them pilot the approach will be very interesting. Machi obviously wants a very stable and slow game. They want to get to the ornaments and then try to get to the point where their champions can just fall onto G2s without much difficulty.
And I actually really love the approach psychologically from Machi as well. I think it's brilliant to go for more of a slow-moving composition where you don't have to make the early aggressive moves if you have just been beaten in the way that they were against Suning. Because you then get to sit back, you get to understand that all you have to do is weather the storm, and then theoretically your composition will be able to get to a point where it's going to win. And the amount of Orns that have got to ornament items and been able to stabilize games has been very high this Worlds, which is not what a lot of people were expecting considering the scrim meta moving in, but when the pressure goes up, so does the game length.
Yeah.
And Ornn certainly is able to capitalize. Not to mention, like you already said, I mean, there's Orianna and Graves in this squad as well. And so they are going to scale excellently. And even Ezreal. I mean, man, this is a late game dream for this particular team, and especially with sort of self-winning team fights with Yornhorn, Shockwave, and everything else being piled in on top. So I do like what Machi have done, but G2, they know how to just switch it on. They know how to turn on a dime. And this is the team that doesn't have the onus on them. They can play fast and loose, and they don't have everything to lose in this game, right? I mean, victories are going to be very, very important. Do not get me wrong, but moving up to 4-1 in the group is going to be absolutely paramount as far as facing down the rematch against Suning and putting them in the best standing to come out of this group at #1, which is what a lot of teams are expecting. A lot of people are expecting, sorry, from this one. G2, of course, always performing very well internationally. So, onto the Rift now. Caps versus Mission here in the mid lane. And it is the Dark Harvest Lilia we've been seeing a lot more of.
Wrath of the Undying there on Ornn for a PK in the top lane. Conqueror on Ezreal, Phase Rush on Alistar. Press the attack on Lucian. Not a whole lot of surprise going on so far here in this game. G2, they really want to win this one. This is the important one for them.
Feels like they want to win it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
As well, is what I'm sort of noticing here based on their choices. I think bottom lane is going to be pretty G2 favored in the earlier stages. Of course, you have a look at an Alistar lane, and he's not going to be doing too much at the very beginning. And look, we're back to LCK as the sepia mode has begun, and it's our first pause of the day. Our first pause, I believe, of the tournament as well. And pauses are where we do most of our best work.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm glad.
Before the game tries to interrupt us.
I know.
Yeah, that's...
I know. And so how have you been enjoying Worlds so far? I haven't really asked you that question so far.
No, I've really liked it. I feel like this Worlds has been the most interesting competitively.
Yeah.
The plans I actually think were way better than previous years from a viewer standpoint, and even from a analytical standpoint. I think the games were just way higher quality. I made a tweet about that wildcard regions were really showing up a lot better than in yesteryears, and I think that's obviously really good. But overall, the Worlds experience is pretty nice. I'm looking forward to see who's going to get to quarters, and then how's it going to wrap up, and, you know, how does Dom1 win it all, you know?
I'm actually really interested in when or if we're going to get top versus Damwon, right? Because the draws into the knockouts, they've been against us in the past. You know, we had IG versus KT 2018, which is not necessarily what we wanted. I mean, theoretically, you could have dreamt for a T1 versus G2 and things like that. But as, you know, of course, this is incredibly biased, guys. And we're allowed to do that because pause time is our time. And so we're allowed to provide some bias. Don't exactly know why it's been paused just yet. But we make sure that we update you on that one. It's just a bit of a settings issue, guys. As I say that we don't know, we get told. So a little bit of an in-game settings issue there on G2 side, and we're going to be resuming pretty soon as well. As you can see, I believe it is Caps that's trying to figure out exactly how things are supposed to be running, and we've got double referees. So I guarantee you, don't worry, we're going to be back in pretty soon. And I've completely forgotten what I was talking about as well. I think I was talking about, oh yes, of course, when we're going to get Damwon versus Top.
Right.
Oh, I think the last time I saw Damwon, I was just imagining the rest of the tournament being Top versus Damwon.
You just don't get it, Atlas.
Every single game. It's
Fly and UOL getting out of that group.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's it.
Whoa. Is that on the script?
It actually is, yeah.
Oh, okay. Just to those of you that don't watch the LCK regularly, LS does have access to the script of all League of Legends worldwide. If you watch his co-streams, also has the script for those, and often does take away all of the surprise for our LCK matches where he just reads the script. You're not supposed to do that, you know? You're supposed to keep the mystery alive, but instead, it's just giving it away. That's why we end up talking about Pokemon and things like that.
True. That is indeed true.
What I said, I was never going to talk about. So let's bring it back to this particular match. G2 versus Machi. This is G2 teetering on qualification.
Yeah.
If they win this game, they move up to 4 wins, and it's basically insurmountable. So this is huge for them, and we've got a bit of a fun stat for you. This is just production trying to bring it back in line, as Wunder has had a CS lead at 15 minutes for 19 straight games, and he's played 14 different champions in that time span. And after his performance in game number 1, that is definitely a stat that we're going to have to pay attention to moving forward, because he's been so good this tournament. As we are back into the game, and there's some happy bees out from Machi as well, showing that their mental is in order at this point in time, as Perks gets a very nice trade onto Bruce. But that's how we expect this lane to go, as Wunder is just going to be smacking down onto PK. The Shen power, even taking a turret shot, still wins the trade. Yeah,
still wins the trade. We'll see what he tries to do on wave 3, or if there is any shenanigans that are going to go on their Caps. Meanwhile, perfect CS up until this point currently. Gemini clearing into his blue side jungle, actually smites the blue camp.
Sometimes you just want to get it on cooldown as soon as possible, you know? If it's available, then, you know, you're wasting cooldown time, is my opinion.
Yep.
Jankos does have his flash back available as well. See how quickly he's going to use it as he's clearing his top side. Has full cleared the bottom of the map. And we're just waiting for these Rift Scuttlers to come up to see whether our junglers are going to interact with one another. As Caps utilizing the extension of the Piercing Light that was in a few patches ago to take down Mission's health bar just a little bit. As Perks and Mickey make their way back down towards the bottom side of the map. Koala does find a really nice double pulverize here as Bruce. Not a lot of follow-up damage necessarily. But Koala certainly putting some fear in the hearts of G2.
Beautiful Alistar skin, by the way.
Yeah, it's
that looks
cool, right?
really, really, really nice.
Here I was thinking you were going to analyze the play. That's ridiculous. Yeah.
I was just so captivated.
Yeah, I know. It is
by the Alistar skin. Well, Gemini, I mean, he picks up the Scuttle Crab. He's starting to path into mid lane. Any time that you can relieve pressure from Orianna, who already is somewhat good against Lucian in the solo lane, it's always a good time.
It is. This may not be the best time for Jankos, but does manage to get his red buff to work onto Gemini. Caps does have teleport, surprisingly. Has another pulverize here towards the bottom side. Very healthy. The ignite down onto Bruce, the flash forward, but the stun from Koala denies Perks the auto attacks. And now he's reloading. Does get the bullets back into the chamber, but it's too late. Bruce is going to make his way to safety. So both ignites burnt from the bottom lane, but flash now down for both of our ADs as well. And Bruce, of course, with the teleport. So similar as far as bottom lane Kill threat is concerned. Gemini, speaking of which, it's going to take a lot of damage from Caps, but Mission teleports in, keeps his jungler alive as the orb spots out Jankos.
Yep. And Jankos, I mean, he takes away a camp from Graves. He dings level 5 as well. Now they're going to come into mid, they're going to shove together, and this is going to allow Caps to get yet another reset off.
Ow.
Because he doesn't want to play this lane after that trade with Graves. He's too far down in sustain. He has no potions. Even though he has the pickaxe and a call, it doesn't really matter because Mission's just in such control of the lane. And again, I mean, this is another one of those games where Mission is doing fantastic despite things around him maybe not going as well as he had hoped.
Is this all a bait is the question. As you can see, Gemini making his way back down. Perks does stop it. It's now Koala and Mickey fighting momentarily. Mickey's just going to grand entrance in place for fun. Gemini looking to take down this Mountain Drake very, very early. We've had late Drakes so far today, but this is certainly an early one out of Machi.
Getting the Mountain Dragon this early is super big. Just a little bit of extra armor going Orianna's way, going Ornn's way inside of the laning phase. It's really big for them against the champions that they're against. And Orianna, we'll see if she ends up even picking up a Seekers, but it's nothing to really scoff at. Doesn't quite give her like an extra armor rune in terms of stats, not at this current level, but Caps will definitely notice some damage. This is going to be a little bit off.
Yeah. Having a look, Wonder in a little bit of trouble here as the Ornhorn does come down. Knockup going to be flashed there as in goes Koala with the gank. Double knockups come through as Wonder looks to be absolutely fine. Unfortunately, these are two burly champions, not with a lot of damage at this stage of the game.
They look like brothers.
Yeah, they really
now Alistar has that skin.
The big Bash brothers.
Yeah. Well. And Wonder, I mean, he's just been able to farm the entire wave before resetting, and that's going to be a nightmare. PK just reset. Yes, ooh.
A little bit short there on the grand entrance, but they do get Mission's flash, and that is absolutely worth for Mickey.
Yeah. Now, Wonder, he's going to reset, and he's resetting with 20 more CS than PK did.
Oh, God.
So, we're going to get some pretty big item discrepancy here in the top lane in just a bit. Now, Ornn, obviously, the Forge God, he can build items inside of the lane, so it's not as catastrophic as it would be for some other champions, but G2, they're in a very comfortable spot so far here in this game.
Yeah, it's a Tiamat and change for Wonder as he goes back, teleports right into the minion wave, as that's the shockwave onto Caps to try and keep Mission alive. Defensive shockwave for the mid laner of Machi, but that will keep him up for now and positioned in this lane. Not a lot of mana there for Caps as these command attacks are working out, but Jankos in position. See whether he can canter around and grab himself a kill. As there's the bowling ball, and Drowsy is the Orianna. Flash gets past, and Caps gets in there. All too easy, as now plates will come in as well for G2.
Yeah, and Lucian is now just going to get further and further ahead inside of this laning phase, so really good here. And also, because Mission's being a little greedy, he's not going for the Seekers, perhaps because he's respecting that it's hybrid damage coming in. Jankos obviously dealing tons of magic, Lucian physical. Maybe he feels like he doesn't get enough value, so tries to just go double Dorons.
Oh, there's some layering of CC, but that's a really good introduction there from Koala as the flash forward. Gemini flashes out, not going to get tagged by the Q. And the Graves will survive for the moment, but double flash is there for both of the junglers. We'll keep things interesting there as Shelley going to be started off. And Cap's going to eat some honey fruit there as well, keep himself in the mana and in the health bar. As G2, this is what we're expecting, right? They did need to make early moves, and they have absolutely done that. As I talk about it, knockup avoided there by Wonder. As in goes the Ornhorn, the Ram comes down. Not a lot of mana for anything else, as the Brittle is procced, and PK will win out in the trade.
And Jankos, he's going to pick up the Rift Herald for himself. Another big trade. I mean, the action just doesn't stop.
It's only level 5, and Perks had a 4th bullet to give over to Koala. And Bruce unable to follow up there either, as this is a lane they shouldn't be fighting like this on Machi's side. This is Ezreal Alistar. They don't really do that much earlier on, especially when you've gone tier Cull. So Koala maybe getting a little bit more hyphy than he necessarily needed to. And it's 2,000 gold at before 10 minutes. This is huge from G2.
Yeah. G2 are in a very comfortable position. This is the type of thing that this comp needs to do. It has to get ahead.
Well, blue buff. Watch out. Eep comes down there as Gemini gets himself over. Bowling ball will miss. And Wonder was thinking about cheating down, but you can see Mission, he has roamed, as has Koala. Jankos still waiting here.
And you can see, yeah, Jankos, he's skipping going to his camps in favor of shadowing Wonder to make sure nothing happens to him so he can try to get that crash in freely. Now in doing so, it is going to delay his clear a little bit. So he's not going to keep accelerating as far ahead of Gemini as he could have, but still everything is very stable. Infernal Dragon's up, 35 seconds. We're going to take another look at this replay. So Koala and Bruce, they think that Perks is alone, but Mickey was really close by. The quickness into the fourth shot.
Yeah.
Mission now, I mean, he's going to solo the blue buff. He's taking a little bit of damage from it as well.
Looks like he should be okay. Amazing that Perks was able to avoid most of that CC just with a Rakan without using his flash. Ooh. Brilliant stuff. Looks like G2 are looking to snowball the Caps lane.
Oh, Jankos, big blunder.
That's not what you want to do. As the passive did a bit of damage there to Mission. And absolutely trolled the Lilia. So it sometimes happens, you know.
And that's a problem because Jankos didn't want to be resetting right now, but he's forced to do so because he doesn't have any HP. Infernal Dragon's up.
Yeah, and this will be the second Drake, of course, with the early Drake take by Machi.
If he gets anything on his reset. He's waiting. Okay, he's going to get Ionian boots.
So a little bit more high value than we may have expected. And you can see Machi there playing pretty delicately around the advantages that G2 already have. We have to remember that Machi do have a comp that scales really nicely, but scaling is maybe a dirty word in this particular game, as the lead for G2 is only expanding. And we talk about these leads as needing to get to certain benchmarks to know whether you're ahead by enough. What would you say a benchmark for around, 20 minutes is for G2? How far ahead do they need to be to feel comfortable?
I mean, I think with this kind of a team composition, with some of the smoke and mirrors that it has and what 20 minutes probably means for some of the items on Machi, I think it's a lot closer than it would normally be.
Jankos just exploded. As Mickey goes in with the grand entrance, finds the quickness onto Gemini. They're looking to try and trade junglers. As Gemini moves sideways, perfect movement there as now Koala in with all the CC, but doesn't land very much of it at all. Caps canceling an auto attack here and there as now Koala taking some shots. The curtain's being called, but the Drake has been taken, and Machi grabbed themselves a couple. Mickey? That was an odd move as the culling does not enough, and now PK is teleported in very, very late and isn't able to find the knock-up onto Wonder. Does find Perks, but I don't think he was aiming for him as the flash out of the shockwave saves Wonder's life. A little bit of a brain fade there from G2, but a really good breath of life for Machi.
Yeah, and I don't totally know what's going on. Caps is just now gonna ding 10. Mission's been 10 for a little bit, but they're so close despite everything that's happened around mid lane. Is very surprising. 2 dragons going over to Machi. Now, unfortunately for them, it is Cloud Soul. So Ocean could have probably just ended the game outright against G2. Cloud will still give G2 some glimmers of hope in the event Machi get there. But this was so bewildering. Jankos just dies right away. Stand United comes in. Perks drags Wonder a little bit too far backwards, and just watch Mickey here.
I don't know. I get. Okay. Flash forward. That's going to be the double tap, and Caps takes down Mission. Thankfully, that can take our mind off what we were thinking about prior. As now Wonder does get the taunt onto PK, but he didn't know that Gemini was coming in, and now he's going to get that bad news. Great knock-up onto the Shen. See whether they can take him down. PK taking a bit of damage, but he is able to get that last boop on the noggin. And the Ornn is 1 kill richer. He is still 20 CS behind, but any sort of advantage like that, and Ornn's going to be very, very happy. It's still approximately 3,000 gold, but it's moving closer and closer to 2 instead of the other way around. G2 going to have to stop with the funny business.
The other thing about some of these kills and the way that they've been happening is the solo XP. that ends up being given over. Gemini is actually ahead of Jankos right now in EXP, and very comfortable. He's returning to his camps. And, I mean, Jankos, he's having some of his own camps taken away from him by his teammates. So, Perkz and Mickey, they're going to get a little bit more under their belt right now.
Yep, some nice items for Gemini coming in as well. Does have his serrated dirt. It's going to be a decent power spike for the Graves as far as his damage output at exactly this point in time. As he's just going to dash over, they find that control ward and they will be able to eliminate that one. Mission continuing with a little bit of control here in this mid lane, but he is without his turret. So that's why you can see Gemini milling about in the area, Koala also.
Well, I'm not totally sure what G2 is thinking as their next plan of attack. They're just going to wait. Oh, hold on. Koala might just bring it to them.
Yeah, Shockwave is going to completely miss, though. Is just encircling the cow, who will be given away in tribute. As Caps picks up that kill, Mickey, he battle danced over, but didn't quite get there in time to assure himself an assist. This might mean Shelly number 2 does go down in favor of G2, as now Gemini spots Wonder, but is able to quick draw his way out. He's going to be absolutely fine. As Jankos just doing all of the shellfish in the river at the moment.
Well, Jankos picking up the second Rift Herald. Now the thing is that the mid-tier 1 has already been broken down. So this will probably just be used to capture either the last remains of the bottom turret in the event that Perkz doesn't end up getting it. Yep. I mean, they might just actually plan a top lane, given everyone's so close in proximity. Gemini gonna tango really quick.
Yeah, Searing Charge does get PK out as the quickness has been brought in. He's taken so much damage as Caps.
Yeah.
Locks him down. Jankos pressed the ult button. I don't know whether he necessarily needed to, but better to be safe than sorry. And G2 are looking for a bit of a reset here. First back comes forward. Jankos very close to the Leandries. Is okay. In comes Machi. Looking for Wonder. The backs were completed. That is going to be the dash out, but the Shockwave pulls him right back in mission, locks down the kill under the Shen.
Yeah, and that was a pretty good pickup because 30 seconds on the Shen. He's probably going to have to use teleport now, or I'm not sure if Machi's just going to start the Cloud Dragon immediately and what the response is going to be because he doesn't have a stand united. So, Caps right now trying his best to complete towards the Miramana, did complete the call, already has the Essence Reaver. Leandri's probably very close for Lilia. On the flip side of Machi, though, Ornn very close to level 13.
Yeah.
So he starts getting the self-ornaments, almost has that Forge Fire cape that's going to be ready, as well as the Infernal Mask. Bruce also pretty close as well. They really want to get this Cloud Dragon, and then that'll bring the game to Soul Point, and that's a pretty scary situation for G2.
Yeah, Soul Point for the team that has the scaling advantage as well is absolutely terrifying. As in comes the curtain call. They're looking to try and take down the Drake, but they're not going to be able to. Knock up onto PK there, is taking a lot of damage. That's the Shockwave, but it only lands on Mickey, who tries to battle dance out. Not quite able to. It's a 1-for-1 so far, as now Koala is on the run. Wonder so close to death as the Mystic Shot will catch him on the end. Bowling Ball tags Mission, but otherwise he's going to be absolutely fine as Cat goes on over, takes down the cow eventually. As Bruce Arcane shifts his way out, it is going to be an even trade, but the Drake went over to Machi. And G2 trying to go aggressive, but great defense being played by Mission here on the Orianna. It's a great position for Machi right now.
Yeah, Machi, they're only down 2.8, 2.7 thousand gold right now, and that's a fantastic spot to be in. And like I was mentioning, they probably feel a little bit bad that it's Cloud rather than Ocean, given that Ocean could have just likely outright ended the game. Yeah. But this is still a fantastic situation for them. The ornaments are going to start being bestowed soon. Ornn's going to ding 13. Shortly thereafter that, he's going to be able to give Ezreal the Frozen Fist because of Mirror Mana. That doesn't just give him the enhanced armor, but also the extra mana converts to some AD that ends up being given over, so that's nice.
Okay, a bit of a knock up there under Koala as Gemini shows up, doesn't find end of the line damage onto anyone, and that's going to be that. Caps will take down the Rift Scuttler, and that'll be the end of the story.
I think I feel it, by the way, Atlas.
Yeah?
I can, yeah. You know in those movies when you can feel the evil presence?
Yep, yeah, I can.
I can.
Is it the music? Is there like... Some...
No, I think I sense Boris.
Oh, no.
Gemini is, yeah, I think he's in his ear.
I don't know. I can feel an edge of night, and I'd be okay with that.
I feel the phage and the Kindle Gem.
Oh, really?
I can sense the tremors.
Oh,
Ah!
Oh dear. Oh,
Those
no. How dare you? You read the script. I decided to go off it because I still had faith and hope, and now you've murdered it. Oh dear, we need to look elsewhere. Let's have a look at Jankos. That's a really nice mask he has. That's all I got. 6-0-0 though for Caps. He's already capped out his bounty. It's exactly where a lot of the gold on G2 is residing. And remember guys, this game has the 100% win rate champion in it, which is Lucian, the last remaining one of those that we have here at Worlds. He's extraordinarily strong, but we'll see whether he's going to be able to carry the rest of his team. Teleport forward. Double Essence Reaver was purchased there and was bought back. And that was as the teleport was going, so unfortunately Caps is now sitting on a lot of gold that he wasn't able to sell. Didn't waste it.
Yeah.
So we've got that, but maybe a little bit of a whoopsie there. We'll see whether it gets to bite G2 as he's going to go back, and there's the Infinity Edge that he intended to buy. But the teleport was a little bit wasted. By a little bit, I mean completely.
Well, at this point, G2... They have 2 minutes to get whatever they possibly can before this Cloud Soul fight. Caps might even just try to get to Tier 2 boots by that point. Doesn't quite have his Miramani yet. Ezreal, however, much more fortunate. And PK, we'll see if he can ding 14 before that fight and hand over at least one upgrade, which is going to be on Bruce.
Yep, he probably wants to get to level 14, back, grab his Forgefire Cape, and then they can look for another fight with an extra ornament and 2 on the Ornn, which is going to be a huge swing as far as power is concerned. 4,000 gold, the approximate lead here for G2, have still been able to retain the snowball somewhat, but it's starting to become more and more difficult as this game goes on. Need to find something creative, I think, as 1 minute until that Cloud Soul rears its head.
The one fortunate thing for G2 here is that I don't think Orianna nor Graves are going to be able to complete their second core items prior to this fight.
Ooh, Orianna does have a Spellbind.
Oh, she did just get it. Okay, so Spellbinder is completed. Will Graves be able to come up with the gold? I don't think so. And so there is that little benefit there.
Oh dear, Koala taking way too much damage as the culling. Not going to follow him over. It's just a pesky bit of wall in the way. And Caps is going to chunk out the Alistar, and that is actually going to be a big deal. And the Alistar now without the flash, only having the Hex Flash to rely on. Dancing Grenade doing some work there on the minion wave for perks. It's the right time to chunk out Koala there, as now G2 will have some vision dominance. Taunt not going to land, but PK still taking a bit of damage. Good snare comes through, but the Searing Charge will be buffered correctly. PK escapes, but does lose over a third of his health bar. That could be important. Keep your eye on Caps, guys. He's got 3 items. They are going to be able to take down this Drake very quickly. Curtain Call comes in. Not going to be able to land the first couple of bullets, but the third one will connect as Gemini getting chunked. Caps down to half health as well, but he does so much damage. See what he's going to be able to get done. It looks like they're not looking to start a fight. The Dragon was taken, and now we move back into a pause.
It really is an LCK kind of day.
This really is an LCK kind of day.
I think you're looking exquisite, by the way.
Oh, you too.
Yeah.
You too. I think your tie looks especially expertly crafted.
Yeah. You look like you have an ornament on. That's how...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which one? Just, I don't know. I got a blue tie and a black jacket. Kind of look like a security guard. But that's fine. I like it. As we will get you guys informed as to what exactly happened. I believe it might be on the G2 side. As you can see, it's Mickey that's getting a little bit of assistance here. We'll see whether everything is going to be sorted out. That particular passage of play didn't actually teach us too much, to be perfectly honest. The Drake was taken by G2. They're delaying a Cloud Soul to the team that does have a bit of a scaling advantage. So to be perfectly honest, like sometimes when you see Souls denied, right, it's really pivotal because it's a mid-game team that wants to be able to use it to guarantee a victory, right? That is not what this sort of soul means.
Yeah, the soul for Machi is not integral to their ability to win the game. They're sort of approaching that endgame inevitability as it stands. They're like Thanos trying to complete the Infinity Gauntlet right now. Now, they're part of the way there. Ornn's about to ding 14. He's going to start handing over all of his ornaments, and G2's champions are going to start slowing down, essentially, with their effectiveness the longer the game goes. Shen's about to start becoming a similar champion for the rest of the game. Lilia's about hitting the point where it's just going to start being Lucian and Jhin taking all of her camps, and she's just going to act as roughly the same champion, just Runic Echo, Leandri, and getting the Zhonyas, and that's it for her, most likely. But Graves still has a long way to go, especially with ornaments being given over.
Yeah.
Ornn's going to get massive. Orianna is just going to keep getting more and more AP, but AP for Orianna, an ornament upgrade if she gets Death Crown or something, isn't just AP and damage, it's also EHP for her teammates because of her shield. So she's getting a little bit there. It's very problematic for G2 if this game goes another 10 minutes.
We already spoke about all of the scaling that they had available. We are going to be resuming the game very, very soon, and Mickey X, he paused it. It was for something that was going on in-game, and I assume it's been resolved because here we are. Back onto the Rift. As now Perkz is going to dance some grenades over this mini wave and wonder what G2 are going to do next.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. I'm pretty clever sometimes.
You were on a mission with that one.
I was.
Almost like Bruce.
Yeah. I've got a pet koala.
Yeah.
That wasn't so good.
That was... Yeah.
Yeah.
It was not.
Well, True Shot Barrage is going to spot out the Baron that was tapped for a little bit, as Baron doesn't get angry at Mickey just yet. And he's going to be able to clear out some vision, smoke screen, trying to get some damage onto Mickey. Not going to be able to, as, oh, we got a Luden's Pulse. Oh, dang it.
Well, you know, you win some, you lose some.
It's just a lack of patience, isn't it, really? I mean, getting as much power as early as possible definitely makes a lot of sense. So that's absolutely fine. I'm not gonna be too upset.
Well, Cap's just trying to raise this top tier 1 turret.
He is so huge.
Yeah, he is.
This is we're witnessing all of G2 trying to take down this top lane outer turret. Shen going to be moving towards the bottom side. Wunder is going to just keep the pressure on inside lanes as much as he can.
Will propel them to about a 5,000 gold lead. 3 minutes until another Cloud Dragon comes up. Shen going for the Locket of the Iron Solari. Boris seething somewhere.
Even more crit now for Caps. Looks going to be building himself a Zeal item of some kind. See whether it's Phantom Dancer or Rapid Fire Cannon, something like that. I assume Phantom Dancer would make some sense given the shorter range of the Lucian. We'll see where he decides to go. As Perkz clears out this Raptor camp. Going to go into the Brambleback. Yankos going to help him out there. And G2's certainly still in it, of course. They got a 5,000 gold lead. This is still good for G2.
Yes.
Just we haven't illustrated that, you know, there is still a chance. But you can see Bruce is pretty big. As the sidestep comes in for Perkz, he does make it out. But you can see the 1v1 certainly working out here for the Ezreal at this point in time. And he doesn't even have his Death's Dance yet. There's the headbutt pole onto Mickey. Massive damage from Perkz, though, as Koala said, nope, this is not what I wanted. The Ignite was ticking down, but it's not taken just yet. As he gets taken out by the passive of Yankos. Over the wall he goes. It's a double kill for the Lilia. Make that a triple. No, it's the Shen that steals it away. And G2 have manufactured themselves a teamfight victory. And this may spill over to a Baron.
And I mean, this game just blows wide open. At Machi, they had a hot date in left side river. The game was so stable. They had no reason to posture for vision or a fight because they know G2 can't just arbitrarily start the Baron.
Yeah.
The Scryer Orb's still up. They have total sight on some of the G2 champions. Bruce was just popping off in mid lane even. This is so peculiar. Killing Rakan is not necessary for them, and yet they do it because it feels good if they end up getting the kill there, and they end up potentially just losing the game off that decision.
It's not what you want to see. It was just a shockwave onto Caps, but unfortunately the damage had already been done with just how chunked Koala got from that opening exchange. And Caps was trying to go back. I mean, that was Machi trying to go for an opportunistic pick. Their comp doesn't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You just take team fights when you feel like taking them. You know, 30 seconds from now would have been a decent time to do it because there's a Cloud Drake coming up. And instead, they're now facing down a G2 that has the Baron and now has complete control over what happens around this Cloud Drake. It's Mickey. Poke his head in, looking to try and clear out this control ward. All 5 members of Machi are in this area as now Caps will turn up. Huge engage out of Mickey. Not going to escape, but has he done enough damage and enough crowd control? Gemini having to get out of there as Caps is godlike, taking down the Orianna. He will fall, as it is answered back by a Bruce that does a lot of damage. But Machi still without control of this area. You can see Yankos, he's relatively low. Is still looking to try and start off.
Now they do have Jin 4th shot. So they should still be able to get this. Oh man.
I mean, Smite's still there, so they are going to be able to take the Drake, and that's a big pop onto the cow. Bruce now taking a lot of damage as well as Perks looking for some revenge, and he'll get it. Double kill comes forward. Now PK against the world. Gemini does have his health back, but it looks like he doesn't want any part of this fight whatsoever. Not going to be able to land the W there is Perks, but the Searing Charge I don't think is going to be enough.
He's too tanky.
Yeah, Perks is going to chase past. Yeah, I like the Deficio quote, but he's not too tanky.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about that one.
He finally does end up getting brought down, and this is another example of Machi approaching something that wasn't totally necessary and then paying for it yet again. So G2 really reaping the benefits of Machi's decision-making. And now they're in such a comfortable position. They're about to raise 2 inhibitor turrets. Caps looking like he's going to get that bottom inhibitor.
Yep, Wanda. He's able to get himself out of there. As, oh my god, Perks does so much damage alongside Caps as well, who's going to be able to complete that kill as that's second last bullet. Sorry, third last bullet. Sorry, still did enough damage to make it look like a last shot, as Gemini's going to get chunked by just a double tap. And Caps gets himself out with a relentless pursuit. And this is the end of the game, LS. I don't know how G2 have managed to do it, but they find that one fight, and immediately the game is just over against a comp that scales so beautifully. Machi just weren't able to follow it through. Gemini and PK against the world now is not even going to be able to find the knock up there. Spirit's Refuge from Wonder, not even necessary. So now Cap's going to be able to take down this turret there. Stand united just to get Wonder in there. A little bit closer to the fountain, and the Nexus will go down. G2 have now qualified into quarters with this victory. Doesn't matter what happens elsewhere. It's now all about seeding against Suning. We'll see whether they're going to be the first seed. First seed's so important as it looks, with the rest of the groups being so stacked. You got top, you got Damwon. Avoiding them certainly seems like a good idea. Still more to play for today, but congratulations to G2. They have qualified for quarterfinals.
And they do so in pretty dominating fashion in both of the games. There were a couple of hiccups in this game, but it was mostly due to team composition, where Machi ended up being able to almost stabilize, but then got a little bit overeager and reckless in left side river for no reason, and that was the one opening G2 needed to just bust everything wide open. So now, the next few matches that we have here tonight become that much more interesting. Suning, I believe, can still clench first if they win every single game. Yeah,
they need to actually take down G2, which I believe is our last game of the day.
Of North America.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
Amazing. It always comes back in the end.
It does. What goes around comes around, my friend. Unfortunately, there is a sad side to this story as well. This will be the end for Machi. They will play one more game today, but it'll only be a spoiler. They will not be able to make it to the quarters. But Machi actually put up much more of a fight than I think a lot of people were expecting. From what I saw from Mission in the one game that he played in 2018, which was the last time I personally saw him, his performance was fantastic. I think the way that he manipulated lanes was very good. So Machi, definitely a better performance than we were expecting.
I think Mission is one of the best performing players at Worlds in terms of just his laning phase control and then his discipline in a lot of fights. I mean, it was pretty nuts.
Yeah, it was really nicely done. But the Oppo player of the game for this one will, of course, be Caps. What an extraordinary performance on that Lucian. Lucian continues, by the way, guys, his 100% win rate. And let's have a look at some of the plays that we saw here. As, yeah, put to sleep is mission, couple of taps, and then a flash forward into a boot. I really love how this was filmed, but
yeah.
I say filmed, but I guess observed is the right word. But this was where it all went wrong, to be perfectly honest. The hula hoop around Koala as well did not help.
No, and I mean, I think Caps was really integral in a lot of the team fights for setting up damage, because he was the nimble one of the two marksmen that is able to weave in and out of the team fights and still get in, whereas sometimes Jin can have a little bit of difficulty and just end up becoming a W bot for his team, which is, I mean, it's partly why he's there. So
yeah. I think that actually Perks and Caps did their jobs perfectly. I mean, we've seen so far this Worlds that a lot of the damage is reliant on them, and this was a 1-2 punch that unfortunately Machi weren't able to figure out. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a break, and when Worlds returns,